Bonjour tous. Aujourd'hui, nous allons parler de l'imparfait. Today we're going to be talking about l'imparfait or the imperfect tense. In our lesson today, we're going to be covering what is l'imparfait, when do you use l'imparfait instead of le passé composé, how do you form l'imparfait. So I'll start with that first question. What is l'imparfait? It is a past tense. However, it is not the passé composé. It is also known as the imperfect in English. So it is another past tense that we need to add to our arsenal of the passé composé, but they are not interchangeable. We use the l'imparfait in a few specific scenarios. We use them for actions that took place during an unspecified period of time. So if it's kind of this nebulous gray area of when it started and ended, imparfait is our better bet. So for example, she was cute when she was younger. You can't go back and pinpoint the day she started being cute and the day maybe not so much. It is this kind of unspecified period of time having to do with just being younger in general. We also use l'imparfait for actions that were repeated or habitual in the past. So for example, if I was talking about how I had swim meets every Wednesday and Saturday growing up, I would use l'imparfait because it was a repeated action, it was habitual. We also use l'imparfait for actions that describe physical or mental states, kind of similar to this first point. If you have a headache, unless you're like super in tune with your body, in which case hats off to you, you can't necessarily pinpoint the exact moment you started getting a headache and the exact moment you stopped getting a headache. Or if you're feeling happy, it's hard to pinpoint, okay, from this moment I felt happy and then I stopped feeling happy in this other moment. So for example, if you're talking about how you were tired or you were happy, that would also be l'imparfait. And lastly, this one's a little bit tricky. You use the l'imparfait for actions that describe what's going on when something else happened in the past. So if we have two things going on in the past, and one of them is setting the scene, that one that's setting the scene would be l'imparfait. So for example, if I said, I was cleaning my room when you called, was would be l'imparfait, but called would be passé composé. These are both taking place in the past tense, but one is kind of setting the scene, describing what was going on when you called. To form l'imparfait, you're going to take a few steps. First of all, you're going to conjugate the verb you want to make in l'imparfait for the new form in the present tense. Then you are going to drop the ons at the end of that new form. And then you're going to add the following endings based on who you're talking about. So if you're conjugating in l'imparfait for je, you'd add AIS. For tu, you would also add AIS. For il, elle, or on, you would add AIT. For nous, you would add IONS. For vous, you would add IEZ. And for il, elle, pluriel, you would add AIENT. So we'll do an example together of what this would look like. So if we wanted to say I danced in l'imparfait, je dansais, times we would want to use this in l'imparfait if we're talking about how I danced when I was younger, or I danced every Saturday, or I was dancing when he walked in. Those would all be scenarios for l'imparfait. So to conjugate it, our first step is to put it into new form. Since danser is a regular ER verb, that'll put us with dansons. Step 2 is to drop the ONS, which leaves us with danse. Step 3 is to add the correct ending for the subject, which if you look back at your notes or at the last slide, the correct ending for je would be AIS, which leaves us with danser. With imparfait, we don't have a helping verb. So with passé composé, we've really drilled in that any answer with one word is incomplete. That is not the case with l'imparfait. With l'imparfait, you would just say je dansais, and that would mean I danced in l'imparfait. The one exception, and this is a pretty easy verb tense because there is only one irregularity, is êTRE. êTRE is irregular in l'imparfait. because we don't have an ONS ending for the conjugation of nous that we can drop. We would say nous sommes. There's no ONS to drop there, so it kind of messes up our pattern. So instead, for êTRE, you're going to conjugate it this way. J'étais, tu étais, ils, elles, ont été. Notice that the endings so far are the same, it's just the stem of it that has changed a little bit. Nous étions, vous étiez, et ils, elles étaient. And ça c'est tout. So pretty simple. Take a look back at your notes, make sure you have everything written down, and come prepared with any questions you have.